Welcome to the Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. For over 10 years, Dan has been helping AM 1160 listeners. With so many companies to choose from and hundreds of loan options, the mortgage process can be confusing and costly. Be sure to listen each day for Dan and learn the difference between FHA, VA, and conventional loans. You'll also learn how to negotiate lower interest rates and fees, as well as steps to buying your first home and whether refinancing makes sense. Stay tuned to find out why Chicago's top realtors are choosing Dan Frio.
Welcome to the Mortgage Update with Dan Frio, and I, of course, am Dan Frio. You listen to me every day, hopefully on AM 1160. You hear my commercials. You hear me live with Mark Elfstrom every day at 5:20 when you're driving home. If you would please Google me. It's Dan, D-A-N, Frio, F-R-I-O, and it should show you everything about me, my LinkedIn, my Facebooks, everything you can have. I'm a mortgage broker in the Chicagoland area. That's why it's called the Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. Today, we're going to talk about jumbo mortgages. Those are big mortgages. So if you're looking to buy a $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 home, where do you go? And up until now, most of the people out there, if you looked for that type of mortgage, you're basically forced, because of interest rates, to go to the big banks. The problem with that is it's not only their rates. Well, they have better rates than most brokerages and mortgage bankers, and I'll explain that in a little more detail. But the fees are what kill you. So a lot of people get wowed over the interest rate, but what they do ignore is the fees. And we're going to go over that in a later section of this show. But let me go over what a jumbo mortgage is. And if you've been out there, or if you're listening and you've reached out or tried to get a jumbo mortgage in the past, you probably will feel the frustrations, or you can kind of relate to a lot of things that I'm going to go through here. So hopefully this is kind of giving you a little deja vu of, you know what, Dan, you're right. I went through that and I did that. And here's how much I had to put down and other things. So what is a jumbo mortgage? Let me explain to you what that is. There's what's called conventional financing. That is loans that you do through Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and I won't go into great details there. I'll do that on another show. And also, what I did is I posted all the radio shows on podcasts. So if you want to look me up on iTunes or just go to podcasts, look up the podcast, every show that we have is on there, and I have it explained out in the bottom of that section what the show is. So you might want to go back and look at, what a conventional loan is. But in 2019, conventional mortgages, that's the standard mortgage that a lot of people get, or most people get, the loan limit is $484,350. So if you need $1 more, what do? Well, that in essence is considered a jumbo mortgage. So a conventional loan is a loan up to $484,350, and anything more than that is a jumbo. So basically, that is, I'll just define it at that. They're harder to get. They're harder to qualify. The rates are normally higher, and because of there's more of a risk on those loans. Okay, so now let's go to, I'm going to break it down to what I'll call loan to values, and I'll explain that, interest rates, and fees. So we're going to break it all down for you on if you're in need of a jumbo loan, where are you going to go to get the most leverage of your money at the best rate with the lowest fees? So the normal jumbo product or normal jumbo loan, you're going to need 20% down. So I actually Googled this just to make sure that all my data was correct. Do me a favor, if you're looking for a jumbo mortgage, put in your credit score. And it's in, hopefully you're in the 700s, 800s, but put it in, and then put that you only want to put down 10% or 15%. This will validate what I'm telling you. In almost all the cases, when you're going to the big banks, you need 20% down. Let me give you some good news. The programs we're coming out with in 2019 are going to solve a lot of these issues for you. We're going to go to 90% financing. So let me explain what I mean by LTVs and the down payments and the financing. So you have a $700,000 home that you want to purchase. When I talk about loan to value, we're talking about the loan amount to the value. So the value in that essence, or in that scenario, is $700,000. Okay? So in most cases up until now, you need 20% of a down payment to purchase that home. So 20% of $700,000 is $140,000. So to buy that $700,000 home, you need $140,000. My program coming in starting January 1st, 10% down. So in essence, we're going to save you, or I won't say save you. The need of the amount of money that you're going to need to bring to closing is going to be $70,000 less. So I can go to 90% when I refer to loan to value. I will go 90% of the home's value. Deduct that 90 from 100. That's how much the complete loan is. Your 100% financing of $700,000 is $700,000. So when I talk a loan to value, it's the percentage of that value. So I hope I'm not confusing you. Just take the loan to value times the purchase price. I'm probably getting you way confused because I'm confusing myself. So you got a $700,000 home. I can get you into that home with 10% down. Okay, even 15% down. The more, however, you put down, the better the rates. So that program will go up to, I'm going to check my notes here real quick. That program will go up to $1.5 million. Okay. So now the next best thing behind that is I can go to 85% loan to value up to $2.5 million. So these two programs, if you're looking for a jumbo loan, and there's people out there looking for jumbo products, this is going to click for you, because what I'm going to show you is you're going to need less money down, you're going to get better rates, and I'm going to show you in a second the fee structure on these programs. So, okay, so now we talked loan to value. Again, I can go to 90%, where your average banks are going only to 80%. So that's that part of it. All right. So now the interest rates. Okay. So again, you can't, if you're looking for a jumbo loan right now, you don't have the access to the 90%. But I just ran a rate calculator through all the lenders I have. And what I'm a mortgage broker in the Chicagoland area. So hopefully you've heard me. If you're listening to AM 1160 right now, you've heard me several times today alone with my commercials. And I was live with Marcus Elfstrom at 5:20 if you were driving home. So today, it's December 12th, 2018. You might be hearing this on a podcast, or you might be hearing this on a delayed show, or we might have filled in a gap for another show. But today's date that I'm doing this live is December 12th, 2018. My fixed rate for a jumbo loan with a 780 credit score and 20% down, so I can compare it to the banks, is 4.625 with an APR of 4.895. The fees in that program are an appraisal and title fee. It comes to $1,140. Okay. The criteria that I used for that loan is a $485,000 loan at a $485,000 loan. That's what I did say, with a $607,000 value. Okay, so that's the parameters behind that loan. So let's rephrase that. I used a 780 credit score, $485,000 loan, $607,000 value of that property. The rate, 30-year fixed, 4.625, APR 4.895. Total cost, $1,140. Okay, I ran that exact scenario through the website, and I found Wells Fargo. And I hate to point them out, but that was one of the first ads that came up. When you do a Google search, you always see the first companies come up as ads and things. So I just jumped onto theirs. So what I came out with theirs is they came up with a rate of 4.625. I didn't run the APR. The costs, now this is what kind of floored me. The cost for them on that loan, and again, I did a web search. I went to wellsfargo.com. You plug in your criteria, you hit enter, and it pops up. The fees or the costs involved to get that loan through them, $10,566. So in this case, I could save you about $9,000 in fees, You're going to say, Dan, well, the rate's lower. The rate's lower by, 0.1, 0.2? It's not going to make that big of a difference. It's going to take you 20, 30 years to recoup those fees. So that is kind of the breakdown of what I hardly ever get jumbo loans. And I kind of reached out there and I'm asking, why? So I had several friends this year call me up and they wanted me to give them quotes because they wanted to use me. I gave them quotes and they called me back and they're like, Dan, you're not even in the ballpark. And I was like, well, what do you mean? They're like, we went to here or we went there. Their rate is 0.5%, 0.75% lower than yours. That's huge when you're talking about a $500,000-$600,000 loan. So what I did, my search this year in 2018 was to be able to offer my friends, family, you listeners out there, I want to get into that jumbo market to help you so you don't have to pay the $10,000 in fees to the big banks. How are they able to pay all these penalties? And I'll pick on the Wells Fargos. They're paying hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in penalties and fines every year. But if you look at their bottom line, they're always producing a profit. How? How can you pay $1 billion and still get a profit at the end of the year? Well, if you're charging clients that are looking for lending $10,000 to get a loan, that's how you're making a profit. That's how you're buying stadiums. That's how you have race cars. That's how you put the rocket on the moon. So that's the jumbo piece. I'm going to go over a little more details about that in the next segment. And then we are also going to talk about credit assistance. So stay tuned. Be right back. I'm going to talk to you everything about credit scores, and credit repair. God bless. Hey, welcome back to the Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. Thanks for coming back. Right, this segment here, I have a sponsor of the show, CreditScoresAndMore.com. And I have there's a YouTube. I have a YouTubes of credit scoring systems and credit repair and other pieces of credits of credit. That's a hot topic right now. And most people, if you get it, you understand that your credit score is huge. And it's huge when it comes to car loans, credit cards, you getting a job or not. Your employer most likely is going to pull your credit. And when your credit is absolutely horrible, you might not get that job. If you want to buy a home, your dream is to buy a home, your credit score has to be certain credit ranges, or you're not getting it's basically, if your X score 1 point less, you're not getting a mortgage. So Credit Scores and More, I'm going to go over this website in some different areas in the kind of a step through of the process of this system. So when you go to, if you would write it down, if you're driving, just this makes sense. Credit Scores, so you want to find out your credit scores and more. What else does this system do? So we're going to go through that briefly. Okay, so let's talk about credit scores in kind of detail. So there's two different credit scoring, I'll say systems or algorithms or what happens is when people call me, and I get a lot of phone calls for people just needing credit help, the first thing I do is say or ask, what's your credit score? And they tell me. The problem with that is they don't know when I ask them, well, what score is that? In 99% of the time, they don't know. Okay. So a lot of people will use the free systems. Okay. So when you go to Credit Scores and More, you can do this as well. It's step number one. You're going to pull up, you're going to put in your information. It's 100% free. It'll take you 2 minutes. It's going to give you a credit score. What that credit score is it's actually a score created by TransUnion, and it's called a Vantage score. Now, a Vantage score, there's I'll go over two pieces or subcategories of credit scores. There's a Vantage score and a FICO score. Okay? No lenders that I know of and no lenders that I can Google search use the Advantage score. So the Advantage Score, the way I look at it is it's basically a training tool. It'll give you a number, and then in that system that gives you a free system, you can kind of dig down and look at your credit and, kind of peruse through all the stuff that you have. Go in there and use that system for some assistance. It'll give you advice on what you can do. It'll also say if you pay down this account to this, it'll do this. If you increase your credit line to this, it can do this. It does a lot of things for you, but however, it's not giving you the credit score that your lender for your car, your mortgage, your insurance, it's not giving you the scores that company will be using. Okay, so it's a good educational tool. I would highly suggest you use it. You sign up for it. It's free. It'll give you monitoring. It'll do a lot of things for you for free, and it's a great training tool. Now, step 2, this is for those that really, really want to know their credit scores that the lenders are going to use, the credit card company is going to use, the insurance company is going to use. Your employer probably will pull this if you're interviewing for a job. I can guarantee you the mortgage company, when you call me for a mortgage application, and you're going to call me if you need a mortgage, please. You could pull this credit score. I can pull it later that day. We will get identically the same score, almost 99.9% of the time. So when you go to Credit Scores and More, it's going to be step 2. Okay, the cool thing about this website is it's going to get you, I would highly suggest you choose all 3 credit repositories. What I mean by that is you've heard of all of them, but you probably might not understand what I'm talking about. There's TransUnion, there's Equifax, and there's Experian. However, did you know, and if you listen to my shows, you check out my YouTube channels, you listen to me on Mark Elfstrom, you know these things, but for those who missed me on all of that information, or all of those areas, there is multiple scores under each one of these subcategories. So let's go with TransUnion. TransUnion has a Series 4, a Series 8, and a Series 9. Bet you didn't know that. So under TransUnion Series 4, there is an auto score, a credit card score, a mortgage score, and an insurance score. So you have under TransUnion Model 4, 4 scores. TransUnion Model 8, you still have those same subcategories. Credit cards, mortgages, auto, and insurance. You have 4 more there. Then you go to Series 9. It has 3. So you have 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 TransUnion credit scores. Again, if you listened to me in the past, you know these things. If you're new to this, you're new to the program, you're new to, you want to get your credit fixed, or you're listening to this on a podcast. But you didn't know that. So by spending a little bit of money, you get your credit and you get all of your scores. Believe it or not, 3 out of 5 people have misinformation on their credit report. I have a current client, and you might, and I'm still working on her because it's a work in progress. She has 4 accounts on her credit report that are not hers. The weird thing is, whoever's using those cards are actually paying on those credit cards. And I've never heard of that, because if somebody's going to use credit fraud or identity fraud, they're going to go out there and they're going to buy things and they're not going to pay it. So the person that's doing this to her, or there can be multiple people, they've actually created cards with her information, and they're paying the payments. So that one's got me. So, but again, go through that. It's going to be on the Credit Scores and More website. It's going to be step 2. It actually says, get your true credit report or reports. And again, there's TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Under each one of those are 2 subcategories. And then under those subcategories are going to be 4 different scores. So you're going to have 8 to 11 credit scores on every one of those. So just add that up. You're going to have over 30 credit scores. So when I ask you, what is your credit score? And you say 620. And then I say, well, what score is that? You're going to say, Dan, that's the middle score of my, all my repositories. And that is the mortgage score. God bless you. You hit it out of the park on that one. So again, creditscoresandmore.com. You can do step 1, which is a free monitoring, free training tool for you. Step 2 is getting your real, true credit report that everybody's going to use. All your lenders are going to use. Now you have some issues. You need some help. There's going to be a step 3 and a step 4. All right. Step 3 is going to get you some help at a reasonably priced program. Okay. Not saying it's any better or any worse than the other, than step 4. Step 4 is basically a law firm that we're having you reach out to really help with some major problems, multiple bankruptcies, multiple information on there that's inaccurate, credit fraud, a whole bunch of stuff that really is going to take a while to fix. You really want to get what you pay for. So we want to reach out and get a solid company for that. However, if you just have some dings on there, you want to try to see if you can get some things removed, some things settled. You don't need to pay excessive fees to do that. And a lot of these, they range. When they sign you up, they're going to range from $100 to $200 for a sign up, and then $50 to even $100, $150, $200 a month. So again, what I'm saying is, step 3 is a more affordable process than the step 4. So that's basically the whole gist of that. So again, creditscoresandmore.com. Step 1 is a monitoring system training tool. Step 2 is the actual credit report that all lenders, credit card companies, insurance companies, even your employer would most likely pull. Step 3 is an affordable credit repair company. And please make sure you go through the websites, because there's a lot of discounts by going through these sites and clicking through and applying on the sites. And then step 4 is a law firm that's going to really dig in, and really it's, you've dug yourself a big hole. They're going to help you start filling in that hole. So that's it for now. That's today's show. I hope you got a lot out of it. The jumbo programs, it's not going to fit for everyone, but if you're in the market for a jumbo mortgage in 2019, please, even if you've called me in the past, give me a shot on those, because I can promise you we're going to get you a rate very comparable, if not better than the big banks, and your fees, they're going to be thousands and thousands and thousands less. All the information I gave you today, you can Google it. Just go Google it. If you think that I am falsifying any information like the Wells Fargo's, the rates and the fees and things like that, just Google it. Put in jumbo mortgage. First thing comes up, it's probably going to be in the top 3. It's going to be Wells Fargo. I'm not picking on them. That's the one I ran. Put in the information, and it should match exactly what I just told you. So I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. I again, am Dan Frio of the Mortgage Update. You hear me daily. If you want to reach out to me personally, and I answer the phone probably 99% of the time. If I don't, you're going to be transferred over to me after somebody answers. You can reach me at 630-338-1160. You're going to see a pattern here. You're listening to 1160 AM radio right now. So 630-338-1160. Check me out on the web at 1160mortgage.com, and then Google search me so you can find my YouTube channels, my LinkedIn, and my Facebook. So God bless you. Thank you so much for listening tonight. Please make sure to tune in tomorrow. Take care. Have a good evening.
You've been listening to The Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. For over 10 years, Dan has been helping AM 1160 listeners. With so many companies to choose from and hundreds of loan options, the mortgage process can be confusing and costly. Be sure to listen each day for Dan and learn the difference between FHA, VA, and conventional loans. You'll also learn how to negotiate lower interest rates and fees, as well as steps to buying your first home and whether refinancing makes sense.